Hello everyone and welcome back to Rebooted MCU. Today we are here with Rebooted MCU Phase 6 Part 2. We are firmly in the final phase of the Galaxy Mutant Saga, and we have a new hero to introduce today. So without any further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right in. The movie opens up in the year 1966 inside the laboratory of Williams Innovations. We see scientists running around, performing tests, and running diagnostics. We cut to see the founder and owner of Williams Innovations, Sanford Williams, played by Kumail Nanjiani, who's crunching numbers and looking over a new device he's working on. Suddenly we hear a crashing sound as he sighs. Eric, Simon, please be careful around my work. He shakes his head as he turns to a fellow scientist and says, Vince, I'm really sorry that you're in this position with me. I never thought things would turn sour this quickly. The man is revealed to be Vince Prada, played by Paul Schneider, who chuckles. Hey man, you've been my best friend since college. I'm gonna be here with you till the end of the line. Suddenly, we hear people screaming inside the laboratory as the sound of gunshots echoes throughout the building, which is a group of men all wearing mobster uniforms walks into the room. As a shorter man walks towards the front. He chuckles. Why, Mr. Williams, it's been too long, my friend. Not long enough if you ask me, Giuseppe. The man is revealed to be Giuseppe Nefaria, played by Joe Pesci, who laughs. That's a good one, but unfortunately I'm not laughing. You're 2 years overdue on what you promised us. Listen, the type of device you and your associates wanted is an extremely complex piece of equipment. It's not something just anyone can build overnight. Well, unfortunately for you, Rigoletto's retirement has created a power vacuum in the New York underground market. And I'm trying to seize control of it before this young upstart Fisk beats me to it. Now, do you have my ionic ray and compound completed, or not? Look, the combination of the chemicals and radiation used in the test is extremely deadly, and I'm not sure I've done my complete due diligence in making sure we've worked through all the potential dangers yet. Dr. Sanford, my dear friend, may I remind you how we got into this situation in the first place? It isn't my fault you needed to borrow money to save your floundering company from that Nepo baby playing with daddy's money. Now, you're going to let me use that device, regardless of the risks, or we're going to have a frank discussion about our business relationship moving forward. I'm sorry, Giuseppe. I know you might not like this, but I'm not going to put you or your associates in danger, so we can guarantee that we can have this completed and safe. I know you've lent me a lot of money so I can keep this place running, but I'm not going to let money compromise my work. Giuseppe laughs, pulls out a gun, and shoots Sanford in the heart, killing him instantly. Peretta screams as we watch Sanford's lifeless body fall on the machine, hitting the control box, which fires an ionic ray as the screen fades to black. We cut inside an auditorium as we see a man standing on a stage. The lights flash on him as he clears his throat. Friends, Roman's countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to pray. Okay, I'm going to have to stop you right there, Simon. Just stop! The man standing on the stage is revealed to be Simon Williams, played by Dev Patel, who sighs nervously. I'm sorry, Mr. David. What did I do wrong? The man on the other side of the room is revealed to be casting director Peter David of SM Studios, played by Kevin Chamberlain, who sighs. I mean, come on now, son. Where's your passion? Mark Antony is one of the greatest politicians and speakers of his time. Someone who knew who he was and was not ashamed to let the Romans know how he felt or where he stood. He had confidence, a sense of dignity, yet passion when he spoke. Essentially, the exact opposite of everything you just did. I'm sorry, sir. I just have a bit of, stage fright when I have to read lines in a new place for the first time. Stage fright? And you call yourself an actor? Here, take some advice, kid. Learn how to read your lines or get out of town. Next! Simon sighs and walks off the stage as we see an older man yelling. I swear, SM Studios is never getting my clientele again. You hear me? Whoa, Neil, it's okay. He isn't worth it. Man is revealed to be Neil Sarian, played by Ed Harris, who sighs as the two exit the building. You know, Simon, I always manage to find all my clients high-end jobs with some of the biggest studios in Hollywood. Nearly 100% client satisfaction, with some of the biggest talent in the world getting their start in Hollywood thanks to my work. Yet, I can't seem to find you anything that sticks. And it's wearing me down, boyo. It isn't your fault, Neil. I'm just awkward, I guess. Never been much of a public speaker, and well, it's finally coming back to bite me, I guess.
Well, boyo, listen to me. I've seen you act, and when you're on, nobody can outact you. We just gotta find the right fit. Somewhere that will give you the confidence you need to succeed, and someone who sees what I see.
Well, if there's anybody who can find it, it would be you.
You go about your day, boyo. I'll keep looking. I'll call you back later.
Watch as Simon smiles and walks off. We proceed to follow Simon around for the remainder of his day. The struggling actor stopping at a coffee shop for a post-audition drink, attending an acting class where we watch him hone in on his dramatic acting skills, and finally in his small one-bedroom apartment as he catches up on the latest episode of the hit television series, Journey into Mystery, Modern Marvels of Medicine, played by Hollywood superstar Hercules. As Simon stares intently at the episode, we hear his phone ring as he picks up. Hey Neil, any updates?
Well, Simon, I'm going to be honest. This is a first for me. I'm resorting to sending in your acting tapes to some of my connections. Nobody wants to have a consultation meeting. Heck, they don't even want to have you in for an audition. Simon, I don't know what to do.
Neil, this isn't your fault. It's mine. I had to spend more time working on my craft. I'm just sorry for letting you down.
Boyo, you haven't let me down. Your time will come. Just wait for the opportunity. I believe in you.
Night, Neil. Thanks again. I'll call you tomorrow. Simon hangs up and slumps over and shakes his head as he gets up and goes to bed. Cut to see Simon tossing and turning in bed as if he is having a nightmare. We see flashbacks of Simon as a kid, with his father sitting at the dinner table, his brother and him running around the backyard together, crying looking down at the ground in their backyard, and a bright yellow ray of light hitting him. Simon wakes up in a cold sweat. We see that his body is shaking and his eyes are glowing bright red. As he blinks, his eyes return to normal as he rushes to get out of bed. He rushes to the sink and splashes his face with water. He stares at himself in the mirror and exhales. I need some fresh air. We cut to see Simon walking around downtown Los Angeles as he passes a Chinese theater. It is around 3 a.m. and pitch black outside with very few people out and about. Watch as Simon sees a woman in front of him texting. As suddenly, the scaffolding above her gives way, with both the scaffolding and metal beams dropping directly towards her. The woman screams as Simon leaps at her. Watch out! Watch as the woman winces, fearing for her life, as suddenly she opens her eyes to see Simon somehow holding the scaffolding and metal beams, which easily weigh upwards of around 500 pounds, as the woman sits in shock. How the heck were you able to do that? I honestly have no clue. I have no clue what I'm doing. Watch as Simon drops the objects to the side as the woman hugs him. You saved my life. I don't know how, but you saved my life. I don't know how either. I'm just glad you're safe. This is bizarre. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your walk. No, not at all. Heck, I would have been splattered everywhere if it wasn't for you. What's your name? Simon Williams. Well, Simon, what's a man like you do in L.A.? Seems like you belong at the Muscle Beach with strength like that. Well, before tonight, I never knew I had this kind of strength. But to answer your question, I'm here trying to start my acting career, but it hasn't really taken off yet. Now that is something I can help you with, Mr. Williams. Can I have your phone number, please? I want to repay you for your kindness. Sure, but you really don't need to repay me or anything like that. I just didn't want to see you get hurt. We watch as the woman smiles as she watches Simon enter his number in her phone. Well, Simon Williams, my name is Alex Flores, and I'm a writer over at Delzani Studios, and well, I'll see if I can help get that acting career off the ground for you. Look for a call tomorrow. The woman is revealed to be Alex Flores, played by Emma Roberts, who kisses Simon on the cheek and walks away as Simon pumps his fist and shouts in excitement. As he heads home, we cut to see a figure standing on top of the Chinese theater, his face covered by shadows, watching Simon intently. We watch Simon awaken abruptly to his phone ringing. He answers quickly as we are greeted with Neil yelling, Simon boyo, are you awake? You need to get ready immediately. My prayers finally got answered. I received a call from Delzani Studios. Apparently a writer got your number and found out I was your agent. They want to meet with us to discuss a role in their upcoming project. Sorry for missing your calls, Neil. I had the strangest thing happen last night. We can talk about this later, boyo. This is your time to shine. Hurry. We need to be at Delzani Studios in 30 minutes. I'll meet you there. Your fortunes might finally be turning around. Neil hangs up as Simon lays in his bed and smiles as suddenly his eyes turn bright red again as he winces uncomfortably. He runs to his mirror and sees his eyes glowing red as they slowly return to normal. Simon gulps and talks to himself as he gets ready. Come on now, Simon. Your eyes glowing red. That can't be real. But you having the ability to catch 600 pounds was real, but also not believable at all. So maybe this was all just a bad dream, or maybe you got drugged at a coffee shop. Maybe there's like a new cannabis coffee or something like that. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. See, I'm a genius. There's nothing for me to worry about. Simon smiles at himself in the mirror as he straightens his tie and walks out the door. Cut to Delzani Studios as we see Simon and Neil walking inside as Neil shakes his head.
Simon, you honestly expect me to believe that you saved a girl by catching scaffolding and metal beams with your bare hands?
I'm telling you, Neil, it's exactly what happened. I'm not making it up.
Come on now, boyo. I know you're an actor and all, but leave the acting and improv for the stage, okay?
Simon shakes his head as we see Alex standing outside the studio door as she smiles. Well, look who it is, my knight in shining armor. Alex, it's good to see you, on admittedly better circumstances this time around. You look great. I mean, this is my manager, Neil Sorian.
It's a pleasure to put a name to the face, Miss Flores.
Likewise. Well, let's not keep Director Hickok waiting. He has a very busy schedule. Watch as Alex enters the building as Neil elbows Simon in the side.
Lay off the flirting, Romeo. You're here for a job, not a date.
Neil enters as we watch Simon's eyes turn red once again as he grabs his head. Notice that Simon begins floating in midair as he gasps. He lands abruptly and scurries inside the building. Inside the building, we see Neil and Simon sitting across from Alex and a man who's revealed to be Director Phil Hickok, played by Jim Rash, who smiles. Well, Mr. Williams, Alex told me all about your brief encounter yesterday and how you saved her life. First of all, thank you for rescuing my best writer. I truly have no idea what I would do if Alex was flattened into a pancake. But secondly, Alex tells you that you have had some struggles getting your career off the ground. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Well, Mr. Hickok...
Sorry, Mr. Sorian. I want to hear it directly from Simon. Well, I have stage fright. Had it for a while, and it's really held me back. Well, this is a certainly rather large obstacle for someone trying to become an actor, Mr. Williams. Let me ask, why would you want to be an actor if it terrifies you so much? Simon sighs and looks down. Well, when I was younger, my father was a huge Bollywood buff, and he would show me all of his favorites. Happiness and Tears, Tomorrow May Never Come, Pukar, All the Best. We would watch them every night. Just me, my dad, and my brother. I always wanted to be a movie star one day, not for the fame or the notoriety, but because I saw how happy it made my dad. I didn't see him smile a lot as a kid, but for a brief moment when we watched those movies, he would smile. All the worries in the world had disappeared. Even after he died, in between the many orphanages and foster homes I was sent to, I would keep watching Bollywood movies. And I would expand my taste in movies as well. Animation, horror, thriller. I loved it all. I think I loved it so much because it was the only thing I had left that reminded me of my family. I know hearing an actor say he has stage fright is a bit comedic, but trust me, I'll work hard, harder than anyone else to become an actor, so I can make other people smile. It's all I want. Simon looks up as he notices Alex crying as Phil stands and clears his throat. You know, Simon, in my years of directing movies, I've worked with many movie stars. People with egos, people who thought that their innate ability to read lines or speak with emotion put them on a pedestal. It's people like that who make this job awful. But you're exactly what I need right now. Your attitude, your passion, your story. It is the dream. Wow, I don't know what to say, Mr. Hickok. How about you say that you're going to start reading? Archon is not going to be a small role after all.
Hold on, you don't mean Archon the Magnificent, the most popular cartoon character of all time?
Yep, I'm working on producing Archon 4, The Goblin Pit, and since Archon Sr. died in Archon 3, Wrath of the Land Monster, need a new actor to play his son. And I think Simon fits the role perfectly.
Whoa, are you serious? Mr. Hickok, this is a career-defining role for many actors.
And hopefully, it will be a career starter for Simon. We need more people like you in this industry, son. Now you'll be performing alongside Ginger Beach, who's playing the role of the love interest, Thundara. Whoa, she played Dr. Sif alongside Hercules, right? Yep, that's her. Oh, also, I need you to meet with your new lawyer here in an hour. This is her card. Don't be late. She's extremely busy.
Wow, so he gets free legal representation as well?
Hey, what can I say? Pays to be with Delzani. Be prepared to begin memorizing your lines later today. We begin screen testing and preliminary shoots tomorrow. I'll send the script to Neil. Phil hands Simon a card, and as he stands, Alex clears her throat. Oh, and, Simon, I was wondering if you wanted to go see a movie later today. Simon gulps awkwardly. Well, I only came for the part. Well, I didn't. Los Feliz, tonight, 8 p.m. See you there. Alex smiles and walks away as Simon blushes and exits the studio. Cut to an hour later as we see Simon enter into a large building. As he looks down at the business card, he mutters, "Okay, Jennifer Walters, floor 19, office 79. Got it." We watch as Simon locates office 79 on the 19th floor. He cautiously knocks on the door as a voice from inside the room shouts, "Come on in, I got 5 minutes." As Simon enters the room, we see a giant green woman who is revealed to be Jennifer Walters, aka She-Hulk, played by Tatiana Maslany. As Simon gasps in horror, Jennifer sighs. "Oh, come on now. You gasp like you weren't expecting a giant green woman when you entered." I'm sorry, ma'am. I didn't mean to offend you or anything. I was sent by Phil Hickok. I really didn't get any other information than that." "No offense taken. Trust me, it's a normal reaction. But you must be the new guy Phil was talking to me about. You're playing that Archon guy in the new movie, right?" "Yep, that would be me." Watch as Simon looks around Jennifer's office as we see a wall of pictures of Jennifer's former clients, which include Dr. Bruce Banner, the mysterious Hulkling, and the man called Hercules. Simon gasps. "Excuse me, Miss Walters, you actually represent Hercules?" "I sure do. Friend of my cousin's. Quite a stubborn guy, but has a good heart." "Wow, okay, so between you and me, he isn't the real Hercules, right?" What do you mean by that?" "Well, there's no way he's the real Hercules. I mean, like, it's just a stage name. It has to be. You did see the news report about him fighting against Ares, right?" "Yeah, but like still, no way it's actually him. I mean, attorney-client privilege and all, but you do know Thor was real, right? Thor wasn't just a name that he went by." "Well, listen, I'll take your word for it, I guess." "Okay, anyways. I'm Jennifer Walters, attorney at law. I'm licensed in New York, California, and the District of Columbia, and I will represent you in all aspects related to your role as Archon. I'll be walking you through how to talk to the press, give advice on how to enter endorsement deals. Once you make it big time, I'd love to be your permanent attorney for all your legal needs." "Wow, thank you so much, Miss Walters. When do we start with all of this?" "Well, not today. I have another client coming in momentarily." As Jennifer says this, we watch as a door swings open, revealing Wanda Maximoff, played by Elizabeth Olsen, who smiles awkwardly. "Oh, I'm so sorry, Jen. I didn't mean to intrude when you have another client." Simon stares at her intently as Jennifer sighs. "It's okay, Wanda. I'm just finishing up with Simon. You're free to go now, Simon." Simon smiles at Wanda as he gets up and exits the building, as we hear Wanda explain to Jennifer that Steven is once again in need of magic insurance. Cut to that night as we see Simon and Alex walking towards the Los Feliz Theater as Saturday Night at the Movies by the Drifters play in the background as we see Simon and Alex walking and talking as Alex munches on popcorn. Simon smiles. "You know, Alex, I truly can't believe everything that has happened in the last 24 hours. It's like everything I could have possibly ever imagined and dreamed of is coming true. I'm going to star in a huge movie. I managed to save a beautiful girl from falling equipment and somehow caught it, and now I'm taking that beautiful girl on a date. Well, I'm absolutely thrilled that everything is on the up and up for you, Simon. You seem to be an upstanding guy, and not to mention, a cutie as well." Simon chuckles awkwardly. "Well, I get it from my parents. So anyways, what movie are we going to see again anyways?" "Ramen the Starjammers 2, The Empire Strikes Back. I have no clue what it's about, but if I'm being honest with you, I was just looking for an excuse to hang out with you." "Oh, wow, I'm flattered. Yeah, I haven't seen the first Rom movie, but I'm looking forward to getting to spend time with you as well." Alex smiles as she and Simon make their way into the theater. Cut to about a half hour later as the movie plays in the background as suddenly Simon's eyes turn red again. But this time the pain is too much for him to bear as he screams. Alex pats him on the back. "Simon, what's wrong? Are you okay?" I'm sorry, I just need some fresh air, Alex. I'll be right back." Watch as Simon runs outside to a back alley and begins screaming again as his eyes are glowing dark red. He smashes a trash can down in pain as he watches the trash can be completely demolished from the massive punch. Simon sits in pain, covering his eyes as an unknown figure drops behind him and chuckles. "Your ionic powers are finally beginning to manifest themselves, Simon. You're the only known person to survive an ionic blast. It changed your DNA. It changed who you are." "What are you talking about? Who are you?" "When you were a boy, that beam that hit you in your father's lab was an ionic beam, or well, 50% of an ionic experiment Sanford was working on. The test didn't completely change your body, but you are now part human and part being of pure ionic energy." "How? How do you know all this?" "Trust me, time will reveal all. But I encourage you to hone your powers, Simon. You will be needed for a purpose that is much bigger than you could ever imagine in the near future. We will reconvene then." "Wait, no, who are you?" Watch as Simon turns around to see nobody standing behind him, as we watch Alex run outside panting as she hugs Simon. "Simon, are you okay? What's going on? I'm really worried about you." Simon hugs Alex back and sighs. I've just been getting these really weird headaches recently. I think it's something to do with my sleep habits. I'll get better about it. I'm really sorry for scaring you. As Alex and Simon walk away, we cut to the roof where we see a man with a scythe for a hand standing. He laughs.
In due time, brother. In due time will we meet again, for our destiny has been set from the very start.
The man is revealed to be Eric Williams, aka Grim Reaper, played by Roll Coley, who chuckles as he watches Simon leave. Cut to a compilation as Movie Star by Kool and the Gang plays in the background as we watch Simon practicing his lines, hanging out with Alex, working out at the gym, and attempting to hone his ionic powers. We also see Simon shooting scenes alongside Hollywood sweetheart Ginger Beach, played by Mimi Keene, as Neil and Phil cheer on. We see that Simon gains more control of his red eyes, but in order to mask this, he wears a red pair of sunglasses when he goes out. Simon also shoots new commercials where he endorses various products, as the compilation ends off with Alex handing Simon a jacket embroidered with the letter W, standing for Simon's last name. We cut inside an abandoned warehouse 2 months later, as we see Eric enter. He chuckles.
Vince, I'm home.
We see a man working on a device who's revealed to be an older version of Vince Parda, the best friend and lab assistant of Sanford, who sighs.
Eric, you didn't get into any trouble today, did you?
Oh, come on, Vince. You know I would only hurt someone if they deserved it. And, well, the old lady today deserved it. Eric! Oh, come on, Vince. I'm just messing with you. Life is just a fleeting thing that we will all lose eventually. So who cares if I end it or if somebody else does? Every day I regret building you that scythe. Vince, you know you're proud of it. It's going to be invaluable when our mission is complete. If you say so. By the way, how's Simon doing?
He's good, and he took my advice. Still can't believe that little twerp got the powers and I didn't.
Well, your father was very clear. The chances of death are monumental. It's truly a miracle your brother survived. Oh, come on now, Vince. You know the only reason he survived is because he only got hit with 50% of the compound. Still, it did enough to alter his genetic structure. It's a scientific miracle that he's still alive. He's truly special. Watch as Eric slashes a computer with his scythe and screams, "It should have been me, Vince! I'm tired of hearing about how special my little brother is. Let's focus on the mission and giving me those powers." I'm sorry, Eric. I've almost finished work on the ionic converter, so you may gather your brother whenever you wish. We'll be able to complete your father's mission soon. Eric chuckles. This is why I keep you alive, Vince. You respect my father, and you always see the bigger picture. Vince nods as he returns to work. We cut inside a movie studio as we see Simon filming a commercial alongside Ginger Beach as they tap dance to T for Two Cha-Cha by Tommy Dorsey. They replicate the dance from T for Two. As Simon tap dances, he watches his eyes turn red as the director motions for the recording to stop as Ginger pouts. Are you serious, Simon? Did you not sleep last night or something? I'm sorry, guys. This happens at times. Neil rushes onto the stage and gives Simon water to drink.
Hydrate, boyo. It's okay. I understand how difficult it can be to keep up with your new schedule.
Suddenly we hear a loud boom outside as breaking news flashes across a TV screen in the back of the recording room. This is Amy Lou Johnston, played by Colby Minifee. For the LA Spectator, we have some breaking news. Financial offices of Delzani Studios has been attacked by assailants that are unknown at this time. We are unsure if this was a bombing or some sort of attack by a superpowered individual. We will keep you posted as we get more information on the attack. Simon pushes Neil out of the way as the director shouts, "Hey Williams, where do you think you're going?" Simon puts on his jacket and shades and clears his throat. I'm sorry, sir, but my girlfriend was nearby the explosion. I need to make sure she's okay.
Boyo, don't be reckless. You could get yourself killed.
Trust me, Neil. I think I'll be fine. Simon runs out as Ginger rolls her eyes. Seriously, does he actually think he's Archon or something? Cut inside the financial offices of Delzani Studios as we see employees attempting to run out of the building. As suddenly we watch as snakes jump at the employees, biting them. As we see Zelda DuBois, aka Princess Python, played by Isa Gonzalez, walking through the building with a large python curled around her neck. She chuckles. Oh, come now, Tanya. Could you not have been a little more gentle? Watch as a woman drops from the roof and is revealed to be Tanya Seeley, aka Black Mamba, played by Daniela Melchior, who chuckles. Zelda. I don't have King Cobra bossing me around anymore. I don't have to hold back. Zelda laughs as we see armed guards run up on the two and demand that they raise their hands and surrender. Zelda sends snakes at the guards while Black Mamba begins striking the guards down as we hear people screaming outside the building. We watch as the fire caused by the explosion spreads to the adjacent buildings as suddenly an arrow flies at the fire, releasing water as the fire goes out as smoke rises. The crowd cheers as one of them looks up and shouts, "Look! It's the West Coast Avengers!" Camera pans up to reveal the arrow was shot by Kate Bishop, played by Haley Steinfeld, who waves at the crowd as she hits an earpiece. Wow, this is super cool, Barbara. I didn't expect to have fans. Kate's earpiece buzzes as we see Barbara Barton, aka Mockingbird, played by Linda Cardellini, land next to her and leaps inside the building. Look, Kate, I know you're still new to this all, but this isn't how we normally communicate during these missions. We're here to protect those people, not seek their praise. Viz, what you got for me? Watch as a white android looms over the building and is revealed to be White Vision, played by Paul Bettany, who scans the room. The two individuals are Zelda Du Bois, who goes by the alias of Princess Python, and Tanya Seeley, who goes by the alias of Black Mamba. Both are formerly associated with the Serpent Society, the group behind the murder of President O'Brien. However, there's no information to indicate that they are acting in affiliation with the Serpent Society. Wow, we sure have a slimy situation before us, don't we, Vision? Miss Bishop, your notion is not backed by science. Despite the societal inclination to believe that snakes are slimy, they're actually quite dry to the touch. Dear Lord, Vision, it was a joke. Come on, man. Can it? Vision, get Kate over here. We're going to have a fight on our hands. Watch as Vision flies down and grabs Kate as Simon watches on from outside and proceeds to walk in the building. Cut inside the building as we watch Black Mamba detonate a bomb next to a safe, which blows the safe open as she and Princess Python step inside and find themselves surrounded by loads of cash. Mamba laughs. We just hit the jackpot, Zelda! Hey now, it's not polite to take things that don't belong to you. The two turn around to see Mockingbird, Kate, and Vision standing behind them as Princess Python chuckles. Oh please, more costumed heroes? You do know you aren't working with the Serpent Society anymore, right? Affirmative. We did not believe that you were working with them. Vision, please. I got this. Serpent Society or not, you can't just go around blowing up buildings to take what you want. Oh, come on, it's fun, and who are we hurting? Don't these Hollywood elites have enough money as it is? Why not call us taking their money charity, giving back to the poor? Well, we stand for justice and truth in the American way, and the American way is no stealing. Wait, I'm sorry, what? I have a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired from a ton of training with the hero Hawkeye. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. Wait a minute, is she quoting a movie? Yes, Brian Mills, Taken. You two, shut up and stop them. Fine, way to be a killjoy. Watch as Mockingbird fights against Black Mamba while Princess Python sends snakes at Kate, which freak her out. A White Vision storms after her. As the fight goes on, you watch as suddenly a man bursts through the wall of the room. As the dust settles, you see Simon standing in the room with his shades on and jacket zipped up showing the letter W. The fighting stops as Simon clears his throat. Excuse me, which one of you attacked the building? It was Zelda Du Bois, who goes by the alias of Princess Python, and Tanya Seeley. Okay, Vision, that's enough. These two right there. Right, on it. Watch as Simon moves with impressive speed, seemingly vanishing and reappearing in front of Princess Python and Black Mamba. As Mamba swings at Simon, watch as he dodges instantly, and with his hand appearing in front of Mamba, he flicks his finger, the force of which knocks her out. Princess Python stands in shock and raises her hands. You know what? I might be a crook, but I'm smart enough to know when I'm outclassed. Simon smiles. Good choice. Saves me the trouble. Watch as Simon grabs Princess Python and picks up Black Mamba to head outside as Vision phases in front of him. Hold on a minute. What exactly do you think you're doing with those criminals? What do you think? I'm turning them over to the police. You do know that's our job, right? Well, my girlfriend works around here, and I thought she might have been injured. Don't hate me for getting the job done first. Dang, he roasted you, Barbara. Who exactly are you? Name is Simon. Simon Williams. Whoa, no way! You're that guy who's playing the new Archon, right? Yep, that's me. Watch as Vision moves aside as Simon walks out carrying both Princess Python and Black Mamba as Barbara sighs. Great. Another actor saving the day. This is Hercules all over again. Watch as the police wait outside as Simon emerges from the building carrying the two villains. He smiles. We cut to a few hours later as Amy Lou Johnson appears on a TV screen. She clears her throat. This is Amy Lou Johnson with the LA Spectator reporting in on a follow-up story from earlier today. Move aside, West Coast Avengers. We have a new hero in town. It is none other than the overnight star, Simon Williams. Williams is the man responsible for defeating the individuals who go by the names of Princess Python and Black Mamba, two criminals formerly connected to the Serpent Society. It is not clear how Mr. Williams got his powers, but he was responsible for saving hundreds today. And for that, we thank him. Now make sure to visit laspectator.com to vote for what Mr. Williams' superhero name should be. Your options are Actor Man, Mr. Muscles, Wonder Man, or Pretty Boy. We watch as Neil shuts off the TV as he turns around to look at Simon, Alex, Ginger, and Phil as the group sits in awkward silence as Neil clears his throat.
Well, Simon, I've known you since your days in college. I know you can act with the best of them. But powers? Why'd you hide this from me?
Neil, I had no idea that I even had powers, not until really recently. Why didn't you tell me, Simon? We're supposed to have a relationship built on trust. What is that supposed to mean? I just said I didn't know I had these powers until recently. So you are really like Archon, actually. Well, what can I say? I have a pretty good eye for talent if I do say so myself. That's not the point. Simon, you need to be honest with us. We're your friends. Look, the night we first met, I started having these eye problems, like my eyes would turn completely red. My Ginger and Neil saw today when we were shooting the commercial, and like what happened back at the movie theater. But I also found out that I can float, and my strength is incredible, and sometimes, if I concentrate really hard, I can form energy in my hands. Energy? Like, what the heck are you even talking about? Look, I know this sounds crazy, but some guy spoke to me in the back alley of the Los Feliz Theater and told me that this was all connected to the beam that hit me when my dad died. The group sits stunned. Have you been smoking something, Simon? Yeah, I didn't think I'd have to implement mandatory drug testing for you, Simon. This is disappointing. Guys, please. We know he isn't lying. We saw it with our own eyes, and quite frankly, I don't care if he is lying. I just want to know why you did what you did today. What do you mean? I thought you could be in danger. I wanted to make sure you were okay. I did what I needed to do to make sure that you were going to be safe.
No, boyo. You acted as a hero, not just as a friend.
Okay, and what's the big deal with that? Simon, listen. You're still the quiet, timid, but charming guy who saved my life. But being a hero, that changes things. You aren't just a normal guy or even just a popular actor. You and your loved ones will always have targets on their back. We're never going to have a peaceful day again. What are you even talking about?
Well, there are a lot of heroes popping up lately. I mean, you have that Fantastic Four who have been around for a while, but then you also have that Spider-Woman, is it, in New York?
Heck, even our lawyer is a hero. Guys, seriously. You really think I want to be a hero? No, I never wanted any of this, okay? I just wanted to star in a movie and put smiles on people's faces. And now I'm getting attacked for doing the right thing? Nobody's attacking you, Simon, but I'm just telling you the honest truth of the situation. It isn't safe for you to be doing something like that again. Simon screams as his eyes turn red as he pants. Look, I'm heading home. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I'll see you all tomorrow. Simon gets up and walks out, slamming the door as the group looks at each other awkwardly. As we see Simon walk home, we see Grim Reaper standing on the roof, smiling as Simon walks away. Cut to that night as Simon washes off his face and mutters to himself, They really think I wanted this? They really think I wanted these powers? Come on! As Simon exits the bathroom, he stops suddenly as we see Grim Reaper standing in Simon's bedroom looking around. Oh, Simon, you're always such a clean freak. It's truly disgusting. Who the hell are you?
Simon, don't you recognize me? You can't forget about family now, little bro.
Wait, you can't be. Eric? Watch as Eric removes his mask and smiles.
Yep, your big brother.
In the flesh. Simon stands stunned. Eric, I never knew what happened to you. How are you here? How are you?
How am I here? Well, I've been following your career very closely, and now it seems as if it is the perfect time to make our reunion.
Wait, Eric, what happened to your hand?
Why is it?
Eric holds up his scythe and chuckles.
Oh, this thing? My arm is fine. This is just an enhancement made to my body by Peretta. Remember him? Dad's old friend? Yeah, he adopted me after Dad's death, and he gave me this little killer upgrade.
Wait, he adopted you?
Yep, he would have adopted you, but truth be told, he didn't think you would survive. He didn't want to get attached.
What are you talking about, Eric? This isn't funny anymore.
Oh, come now, Simon. Remember that voice who talked with you about the ionic beam in the back alley? That was me, little bro. I was preparing you for our destiny.
What destiny? I'm not playing around, Eric. What's going on?
Do you remember how Dad died?
I remember him getting shot vividly. What does that have to do with anything?
It was all thanks to the Magia.
The Magia?
Yep. In New York, there's a massive criminal underworld. It used to be ran by this guy named Don Rigoletto. He had two understudies of sorts. Giuseppe Nefaria from the wealthy Nefaria family, and Wilson Fisk.
That guy who used to be mayor?
The one and only. When Rigoletto was going to retire, there became an arms race of sorts to become the new king of crime. Fisk had the social influence and was charismatic to boot, while Nefaria was not a people person to say the least. Instead, Nefaria sought the creation of a soldier. No, a monster who was powerful enough to ensure that he would never be beaten. He would secure his place as the new king of crime, and he sought to do this by forcing one of his debtors to make a device capable of creating such a monster. That debtor was our father, Simon. No, you're lying. Nope. The rise of Stark Industries placed our father in a difficult position. So he agreed and told Giuseppe that he could create a being of immense power using a little before tested compound. A pure ionic compound. You mean the thing that hit me and gave me this power was intended to be used as a weapon? Yep. Now Dad, being the good scientist he is, decided that he was going to work on the test for as long as he could. Nobody had ever undergone the procedure before and survived. But his time ran out, and they killed him. And in the process, it gave you your powers. Well, that can't be true. You said nobody survived the process before, right? Well, Simon, you're the first and only person documented to have done so. And as I would later find out, you only got hit with 50% of the total compound. Which is impressive. Even half of the compound was enough to rewrite your DNA to increase your strength, durability, speed. Heck, you're basically invincible, Simon. Okay, so why are you here then? Why show up now? Why tell me to hone my powers? Because, Simon, you are still flesh and blood at the end of the day. You're not a being of pure ionic energy, but I have the potential to become that. Over the last 10 years, I've been working with Peretta to rebuild a new ionic converter, because Peretta held on to the remaining ionic compound, the other 50% of the equation. Okay, well, I'm not going through the process again. If that's what you came here for, then the answer is no. Oh, it isn't for you. It's for me. I want to take the ionic energy coursing through your blood and undergo 100% of the treatment. Become the thing Father sought to create. And why would you want to do that? And why would you need me to do that? The compound can't be that rare. Not just rare, Simon. One of a kind. The blueprints and equations were burned when Dad died. All that remained was the ionic energy coursing through your veins and the vat kept by Peretta. As to the why, well, maybe I want to keep Dad's legacy alive. Risk the process, and his memory, of course. Eric, please, I'm your brother. I know you aren't doing this with peaceful intentions. Eric growls and holds up his scythe to Simon's throat. You throw insults at me, brother. That's not very kind and extremely bold of you. Do you not remember? You killed the family cat when we were children, nearly burned down our house for fun. Doing something out of kindness isn't exactly in your DNA, Eric. Eric turns around and screams, Quit pretending that you know me, Simon, 'cause you don't. You don't know what it has been like all these years, waiting for the moment that I could get my revenge. Revenge? Against me? No, against the Maggia for making a fool of me and our family. That idiot Fisk is gone in New York, and the rumors that the Maggia are hoping to take over. I want your power, and I will use it to become the monster that the Maggia hope to create, and destroy them all. Every single last member. And who knows, maybe I'll become the king of crime. But the fact remains, I need your DNA, the ionic compound coursing through your veins, to do it. I'm tired of waiting, Simon, so I'll give you a proposition. Either you come with me and give me your DNA, or I will tear your life apart. It's your choice. Eric, from how it sounds, you can't do anything to kill me. The ionic energy in my veins will prevent it. I don't want to be a hero, but I sure as hell don't want to be a villain either. Get out, or I will make you. You want to honor Father's legacy? Be the thing that make people happy, not strike them with fear. Eric stands stunned, but begins to laugh. Fine, I'll leave, Simon. But I have a feeling I'll be seeing you again very, very soon. Eric leaves out the window as Simon sits on the end of his bed and places his head in his hands. We cut to see Simon dreaming once again. He has flashbacks to him and his father watching television together. Eric punching him in the face as a kid. Simon being scared to raise his hand and speak in class. And finally his father telling him that he loves him, as suddenly he is awakened and suddenly hears his phone ringing. As his phone stops, he checks to see the time. It's 4 a.m. and he has missed 10 phone calls from Neil and 15 from Alex. Quickly clicks his phone and redials Alex. As she picks up, he blurts out, Alex, are you okay? What's going on? Oh, brother, I told you. I would tear your life apart if you didn't come with me and relinquish your power. I'm not messing around. I have your friends.
Cut inside the abandoned warehouse as we see Grim Reaper standing with Neil, Alex, Ginger, and Phil tied up as Vince looks on appalled as Simon screams, "You better not hurt them, Eric! They are more of my family than you!"
Well, then you better protect your family then. Here's the address. You better not be late. See you soon, baby bro.
Eric hangs up as an address is sent to Simon.
Ah, crap.
30 minutes away. Simon stands up and looks at his glasses and jacket as he heads out. We cut inside the abandoned warehouse as we see Grim Reaper watching Vince type in calculations on the ionic converter as Eric smacks his back.
Here we are, Vince. Almost done fulfilling my father's legacy. Isn't it great?
Yeah, but I don't imagine he'd be happy if he knew what you were doing to fulfill it.
How about you just get this machine ready to go when Simon arrives? I'm tired of waiting and hearing about your stupid morals.
Eric walks over to the group and smiles.
Look at this. So cute. 4 people desperate for their lives. Surprisingly, I get no greater sense of calm and collection than when someone is in front of me, on the verge of death, the last-minute desperation in their eyes. In fact, I kind of live for it, you might say. We aren't scared of you, punk. Simon is a good kid, and a good person with a good heart. He won't let the likes of you hurt his friends. You know, old man, Simon had a choice to protect you when I visited him, and instead he decided to wait until I took you to come and play hero. So here we are. In fact, how about this? Because of your incessant whining, how about I carve you up a bit? Leave a little surprise for Simon when he arrives.
Grim Reaper raises his scythe as the group screams when suddenly, we watch as Simon breaks through the wall as Eric lowers his scythe and smiles.
Simon, look at that, just in the nick of time. I was on the verge of sending this old man here to meet the devil.
Let them go, Eric.
Oh, what a strong statement. What exactly are you going to do to make me do that, huh?
I'm going to surrender my powers to you. I don't want my friends to be hurt. And I don't want to be a hero. So take them, Eric. I'm not going to let you destroy my life or destroy them.
Wow, what a change-up. You heard him, Vince. Hook him up and have the ionic compound absorbed from his body.
Vince rushes over and begins to hook up equipment to Simon as his friends shout not to let him get his powers taken away. Simon waits for his powers to be extracted as he closes his eyes. He thinks back to all the time with his father, the long hours his father worked for he and Eric to have a better life, how long his father would spend talking about his ideas at the dinner table. And even though young Simon had no idea what he was talking about, he supported his dad. The memory is abruptly cut off by Grim Reaper slicing Sanford in the back as Eric laughs hysterically as Sanford lays dead on the ground. Simon shakes his head. As he opens his eyes, we see his eyes are glowing a familiar shade of red as he screams, "No!" Watch as Simon rips off the cords as he leaps at Eric, knocking him across the room as he screams, "You want to mess with Dad's legacy? You want to destroy the lives of thousands from his work? No, Eric. I don't care what I have to do. I'm not going to let Dad's legacy be one of fear." Eric gets up and cackles.
"Oh, come on then, little brother. Show me what you got!"
Watch as Simon absolutely unleashes his full power on Eric, the ionic compound giving him superhuman levels of strength and energy, preventing Eric from landing so much as a punch on Simon. Watch as Simon lands a finishing blow, knocking Eric across the room as his 4 friends cheer on as Vince rushes to the other side of the room. Simon walks and begins untying his friends, who praise him for his victory, when suddenly, Eric shouts,
"Vince, now!"
Simon turns to see Vince hit a button on the ionic converter as it shoots a ray at Eric, filling his body with the remaining amount of the ionic compound, increasing his strength and stamina to incredible levels of power. He stands and stares at Simon, who looks worried as Eric screams,
"I told you, Simon! You could follow me and we could have resolved this quickly, but now I'm going to have to do it by force. Neither of us are beings of pure ionic energy, so remember, we both still bleed."
Eric rushes towards Simon, slashing his face with his scythe, as we see a cut form across Simon's face as Simon screams, "You guys get back! I'll finish Eric off!" Watch as both beings of ionic power clash with each other. Eric's pure rage and aggression begins to overpower Simon, who begins to lose his balance as Eric screams,
"I won't stop, Simon! I won't stop until his legacy and my legacy are sealed!"
Simon stops, grabbing Eric's scythe with his hand and breaks it. His eyes are glowing red as his entire body begins to turn purple and flow with energy. He screams,
"You selfish idiot! Can you think of someone other than yourself for once?"
Eric stands in shock as we see Simon standing in front of Eric as a being of almost pure energy in his ionic form. Watch as Simon absolutely obliterates Eric with nearly unfathomable levels of power. as Simon lands a huge blow to Eric, causing him to fly across the room. Simon falls to his knees. It took almost all the power he had to harness his ionic form. Eric gets up from the rubble, breathing heavily and bleeding from his mouth. He snickers.
I don't need my sight to kill you, Simon. Alive or dead, I will get the energy I need.
Suddenly, Eric stops. His mouth starts to foam. He begins making odd noises as he falls to the ground and screams in pain. He suddenly stops moving as his eyes roll to the back of his head. Eric lies on the ground, dead. Simon runs over to Eric and feels his chest. There's no pulse. Simon punches Eric in the chest and screams, "You idiot! Why? Why did you make me kill you? Why did you have to die? You were my family!" "You didn't kill him. It was the ionic compound. Like the others, his body couldn't handle it."
So he died because of his own ego.
"Yes, I'm sorry, Simon. He knew the risks, and he disregarded them. I'm sorry for raising him and abandoning you. It's just you. You look just like your father, and I couldn't handle it. And as Eric got older, he threatened me. I didn't want to do this, but he made me." Simon and Vince embrace each other as Vince tearfully looks at Simon.
But I do know one thing. You don't only look like my best friend, but you act like him too. He would be so proud of you.
Watch as Alex, Neil, Phil, and Ginger embrace Simon as a group hug each other as Simon looks up. Sorry for making you guys worry, and not to cut this moment short, but I'm starving. I don't think I've ever used up that much energy before. Oh, well, speaking of your powers, I'm more than willing to help you learn to control them, and we can make the most of them."
Thanks, Vince, but for now, all I need is some food. We can save the hero talk for later.
Hero, huh? Have a change of heart? Well, putting a smile on people's faces by saving them and making them laugh seems to be a pretty good gig. So why not do both? Well, in that case, we should go to the place that serves the breakfast of heroes. IHOP! The group cheers as they begin to walk out as Simon stops and looks back. "Hey, Ginger, you coming?" Ginger looks up and smiles. "Oh, yeah, you guys go ahead. I'll be right there. I need to cool off for a minute." Simon and the group continue to walk away as Ginger stares down at Eric. We'll cut to later that day as we see Simon sitting in his apartment eating a leftover pancake from IHOP as She-Hulk talks to him. "Look, I'm going to talk with the press. We'll run through your lines again, but for now, just stay in here and don't say anything. And more importantly, don't let anybody in. You don't have to tell me twice. I feel like I could sleep for a week." "Good. I'll be right back." Watch as She-Hulk walks outside and stands in front of a podium as reporters gather around her and begin to ask questions about Simon Williams, his powers, and what occurred in the abandoned building earlier that morning. "Look, my client, Simon Williams, will not be making any statements at this time. Thank you." He watches Amy Lou Johnson cuts to the front of the line and speaks into her microphone. "Miss Walters, can you please let the people of Los Angeles know, will they ever see the hero Wonder Man again?" "Ah, so Wonder Man won the poll. Cute. I like it. It fits. And well, I will simply say this. To anybody who wants to cause the people of LA harm, there's a new force in town. You mess with LA, you mess with Wonder Man." In the first post-credit scene, we watch as Simon watches a press conference from his window as suddenly someone claps in his living room. You mess with LA, you mess with Wonder Man. I like it. A bit cheesy, but I like it. Simon enters his living room to see Clint Barton, aka Hawkeye, played by Jeremy Renner, standing there as Simon gulps. "Who the heck are you, and how did you get in here?" "Well, I'm the leader of the group you embarrassed the other day with your little stunt defeating the Serpent twins. And you happened to land a sick burn on my wife, too. Not cool, man." "So you're with the West Coast Avengers?" "As long as Cap says so, I am." "Look, no beef, dude. I'm sure there's plenty of crime to go around for your group and me to handle." "Well, that's exactly my point. There is a lot of crime, and how about instead of working against each other, we work together? Wonder Man on the West Coast Avengers. Has a nice ring to it, yeah?" "Well, Clint, I'm new to this, but what the heck? I'm all for making friends." Clint smiles as he and Simon shake hands. In the second post-credit scene, we see Phil sitting in a chair as he screams, "Now pay attention! This is one of the most pivotal scenes in Thor 4, The Guardian God. If the recount of the story is true, the scene where Hercules arrives on Earth to protect Thor from Gore is one of the most important moments in the last few minutes of Thor's life on Earth. We cut to see Simon dressed up as Hercules as he scoffs. Phil, I'm sorry, but don't you think this is a bit much? Yeah, I mean, you got the hair all wrong. The camera pans to see Hercules, played by Brett Goldstein, dressed up as Thor. Phil scoffs. Boys, get your head in the game. This is going to be the biggest cinematic experience of the century. Simon and Hercules look to each other and shrug as Phil shouts, Action! And that is Wonder Man, a new hero in Rebooted MCU, the last new hero that will get a solo project in Saga 2, excuse me. And I hope you all enjoyed. I know that Wonder Man is a relatively unknown hero. I really like Wonder Man. I think that he has some interesting story potential, and we will be seeing a lot more of him moving forward. And I hope it was nice to get to see the West Coast Avengers for the first time in Rebooted MCU and catch up with some of our old friends like She-Hulk. With that being said, the next project is Doctor Strange Broken Reality. It should be out in a few weeks. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, join the Discord server, follow the Instagram page, subscribe to the Rebooted MCU Side Projects channel, and make sure to stay tuned for more Rebooted MCU coming up to you real soon. I'll catch you all later.